Up next on American Restoration.
Rick, this is a 1937 iron lung, common during the polio epidemic.
If you want this thing working,
That's right.
here's the deal. There's a lot more to this.
Wow.
A lot of stuff. What'd you end up paying for these?
$60.
That's good. Bradley got a great deal on these trikes, but I'm bracing myself for when he tells me how much he spent on one of these bigger items.
Earlier, Tyler pranked me pretty good, so now it's on. Grab a seat and let's go over this for a little bit, come on.
I knew I'd get somebody. Look at a man's workbench. You see his passions, his works in progress, the things that drive him crazy. Projects that, you get the point. Anyway, every workbench tells a story, and this is ours, American Restoration.
The hell is that, Rick?
My job is really rewarding because I get to work on so many different projects. But when an item comes in that's a symbol of an important historical era, that's when I get excited. What can I do for you?
I'd like to have you take a look at this old respirator. I'm here at Rick's Restorations today to get my 1937 iron lung restored. It sat outside for a long time. It doesn't work anymore. I'd like to have it restored because I think that it can become an important museum piece or collector piece. Rick, this is a 1937 Drinker Collins negative pressure respirator, also known as an iron lung, common during the polio epidemic.
Right. This thing's awesome. In the early 1900s, there was a polio epidemic in this country that left thousands of children and adults crippled. The worst off were those that couldn't breathe on their own. By the late 1920s, a machine called the iron lung became widely used for these polio victims. These things saved lives, and it would be an honor to restore one.
The way the thing worked,
Yeah.
of course, this had glass in it.
Right.
It was essentially a sealed chamber, and the patient who was paralyzed in their diaphragm and was unable to breathe would lay on a bed inside of here.
Right.
And their head would stick out this end.
Right.
And then this bellows down here would open and close from this motor-driven gearbox.
Right.
And it'd pull a vacuum.
Yeah.
And then it would pressurize, and that would cause the person's lungs to
Go out.
expand or contract, depending
Correct.
on what the pressure was.
It helped them breathe.
Yeah.
But you want this thing working? Do you want it?
Basically, it's going to be a museum piece, or it's going to be in the lobby of a pulmonary cardio clinic of some kind.
All right, so I think what we can do is get this thing totally working, but not to medical standards. I don't think it's going to save anybody. What has to happen is everything is going to come off. I mean, every nut, bolt, piece, bring it all the way down, because all I want is this cylinder to be sitting in front of me after we sandblast it, and then I'm going to cut it out with the torch and then patch it in.
Right.
We'll go through this motor, make it all work again, make it pretty, paint it all. The same with the gearbox, of course. On the bellow, we'll go ahead and figure out if we can make this, clean that all up, make that all work correctly.
So, Rick, what's it going to take to put this back together?
All that, I'm looking at about $12,000 to do the whole thing.
Could you do this for 10?
I think the thing's as cool as can be, and you know what? I'm going to do it for 10.
All right.
All right? It's going to be a challenge, but I got to make this restoration work for 10 grand. This iron lung represents an era where the country worked together to overcome a terrible disease. And I want to do my part to keep this piece of history alive.
When he's fixing this in body, he could just paint this white too, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Tyler.
What's up?
Hey, I need you to do something for me. I need
What?
you to take my car and get it washed.
Washed?
You know it's my baby. It's got to be clean.
I'm right in the middle of something.
Dude, just do it on your lunch break.
No, why would I do that?
You're my nephew. I've been here longer. I've also, changed your diaper. So you need to owe me, okay? Thanks, man.
Are you serious? Ron must be delusional. I would never, ever wash his car. But I think I might use my lunch break today to teach my uncle a lesson.
The iron lung we just got in is in really bad shape. And if I'm going to restore it, I got to get eyes on a complete one. Hey, Lonnie.
Well, good morning, Rick.
I have this friend, Lonnie, and you could say he's a bit of an oddball. His house has everything from full-scale models of spaceships to submarines. And hopefully, an iron lung is part of that collection. I hear you have an iron lung.
I really do. I have one in my basement in my tomb.
The tomb. Yeah, awesome. Let's go see it. Where's
Come
it at?
on down the stairs here.
Okay. Where are we on?
I put a tomb underneath the house so that I never have to leave the property.
Who the hell has a tomb in their house? Like, you use that as a conversation starter? Oh, yeah, we're hanging out. Let's just go down to my tomb.
Wow.
This is my sarcophagus
Yeah.
and my iron lung from the 50s.
Why do you have an iron lung?
It's where I'm going to be buried. I'm going to spend eternity in there.
Lonnie is Lonnie, and when he took us down to this tomb area he was talking about, I just figured it was just a dark place. Instead, it's actually where he wants to be buried, and it is literally a tomb. Lonnie, we're restoring one almost just like this. The bed comes out like that, and it has a little bit bigger lenses here.
Yeah.
This is interesting because I wondered, you think this is plex or it's glass?
It's some plex.
It is a plex.
It's a plex, yeah.
That's good to know because I was thinking about putting glass in there and it would have been extremely expensive to roll glass. Ours has a little bit different headrest situation here. This is really nice the way they made this to where it actually holds the skull just perfectly there. On ours is basically you sit your head in and that's it. There's actually a mirror so you could see yourself, or you could put newspapers in here, magazines, so they could read and that kind of stuff.
And also to talk to people so
Right.
you can look at them when you're in it.
This is showing me quite a bit, actually.
You should experience it from the inside.
Get in it, Ty.
No.
Come on.
For $100.
I'll give you $100.
All right. Gotta get in the back here, and we're gonna crawl in. Lay down there on your back.
Getting in this thing is creepy on multiple levels. But for $100, there's basically nothing that I won't do.
Ready?
Oh, my God.
Here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, slide on out. Head there.
How does that feel in there?
Can I get out now?
No,
I've experienced it.
tough. You've experienced for a couple minutes.
To think about you being in there as a person and only being able to blink and swallow and move your lips, that's incredible.
Being in there, you can't move your arms. All you can see through is that mirror, and you don't really have many options.
Thanks a lot.
Sure enough.
I can't believe Tyler actually agreed to go inside there. There's no way in hell I'd go inside that thing. And I ain't gonna give him no $100. He's just gonna have to figure that out.
I'm so excited to see this iron lung.
All right, here we go.
Oh, check this out.
This is gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna trick him by asking if he can go on a run with me. He'll turn on the AC, and bam.
Earlier, a customer brought in an old iron lung from the early 1900s. Tyler and I went over to Lonnie's to do a little homework. Now it's time to rock and roll. So I got Kyle and Cowboy tearing this thing apart.
Cowboy, you ever been in one of these?
No. I can't hold it like this. You're gonna have to go in it, Kyle.
Me?
You don't know what's small enough to go in there. You're going in there so we can get done.
It's harder and harder to work with you every day. I'm really not trying to get into this thing, but I guess somebody's got to do it, right? I'm feeling claustrophobic. You owe me lunch for this, Cowboy.
Ready?
Yeah. Really? Come on, Cowboy.
Come on back, Bradley. While the guys are tearing down the Iron Lung, Bradley's just getting back from his first solo pick ever. This should be interesting.
What's up?
How'd it go?
It was good.
Yeah?
Driving.
Let's see what you got. Up until now, Ron's been the only one that I've trusted alone in the field, but Bradley's been nagging me for a shot. So this is his chance to show me what he can do.
There we go.
A lot of stuff. That looks good. I'm really surprised just by the amount of stuff Bradley was able to get. I mean, there are times when just asking him to pick me up a cup of coffee can go wrong. So far, so good. This is cool. It's a really nice trike. It's old because of the tires.
Yeah.
See, the tires are all hard. It looks like it's probably 30s. It's got really cool cranks and pedals on it.
And this is all original, too, huh?
Yep, everything on it's original. This one here, this is done by AMF. It's probably 60s. You got a lot of parts, so that's what this is good for. We're always missing these bearings. A lot of the handlebars are bent, so this is a good set of handlebars. So what'd you end up paying for these?
I got it for like $60, both of them.
That's good. That's good for parts, and this is good for a complete restoration. Right on.
Yeah.
Bradley got a great deal on these trikes, but I'm bracing myself for when he tells me how much he spent on one of these bigger items. This is a Stoner. Stoner started this machine in the 40s. This whole design. This is all new logos where, you know, this more 60s as far as the look here. The coolest thing of this machine is you got one that does both, where it's got lifesavers and gum over here. That's pretty rare. What'd you pay for this?
$300 for it.
That's a good deal. This will sell real good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And last but not least, the scale.
Yeah, penny scale. I've never seen one like this. Automatic Service Corporation. Wow. When these came out, there's no such thing as a scale at home. You would have to go to the doctor to get weighed. All these did different things. Some of them read your horoscope. Some of them gave you a fortune. Some of them printed out a little picture of somebody, you know, a movie star or something. They all had a little gimmick to them. So this is awesome. What'd you end up paying for this thing?
I got it for $100.
Oh, wow.
So
It's a great deal.
yeah, she
You
was,
stole
they
that.
were nice. Yeah.
That's a great, great deal. Wow. I see these machines going for $600 to $800. So I can't believe how well Bradley did. I mean, I don't think anyone has brought back so much stuff for so little money. I think Ron's going to have to start stepping up his game. You keep this up, you're going to take over Ron's job. Good job, bud.
All right.
Awesome job. See you, Nana. Good
right.
job to you, too.
Earlier, Ron had the balls to ask me to get his car cleaned.
Wash my car, okay? Thanks, man.
Really? He was so obnoxious about it that now I just gotta punk him. A little flour in the air duct should do the trick. This is gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna trick him by asking if he can go on a run with me. He'll get in his car, not think anything of it, turn on the AC, and bam. You got a couple minutes?
Yeah.
I gotta go on a run, and we gotta go pick up some compressors, but there's no truck here.
So what, you and me going?
Yeah, I mean, go out, get some lunch.
Oh, yeah, get me out of the boneyard, dude. Wait, I thought you were supposed to get my car washed at lunch.
In your dreams, pal.
This was a classic one by Tyler. He got me. He got me big time. As soon as I turned my ignition on, all this white stuff coming out. Then I got my nephew next to me, and he's laughing like crazy.
Have fun cleaning that.
That was friggin' stupid, Tyler.
Right now, we're restoring this 30s iron lung for Larry. First, Manny's replacing all the rusted out sections of the cylinder, rebuilding this thing from the ground up. Then, to give this thing a long-lasting finish, we're powder coating it in the original green. And the bedding in this thing was also completely ruined. So I have Charlie making a pair of custom mattresses and a new headrest. But what's really got me worried is how the heck we're going to make a new bellows system, which is what pumps the air in and out and keeps the patient alive. It's the heart of the machine. It has to work. All right, so this is the most important piece. It's the thing that actually makes a vacuum, like a diaphragm, pushing the air in and sucking it out so that the person can breathe.
Same thing your lungs are doing.
Right. Just like your lungs, the bellows have to be airtight. So we have to find a practical material to use to ensure that no air leaks out. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. Take an inner tube and figure out this dimension right here, and then cut it to where we can stretch it out.
Well, we're going to make it airtight. That's the problem.
Why can't we stitch it like they would the leather?
I think it's going to leak, but I think you could glue it.
Glue it?
And then go around it, make sure we got a seam on the leather and on the rubber. Glue it together. So we've got a leather ring on the outside, we got a rubber ring on the inside, and then we have two bands on top and bottom. And then when that arm is going up and down like this, it's pushing that, and should have nice airflow.
Yeah.
You got suction and exhaust, suction and exhaust. And hopefully this thing's gonna work.
All right.
All right?
Okay.
It's hard to say if we can actually get this thing functioning again, but I certainly didn't take on this job to quit now. So I'm definitely anxious to see what happens.
Sweet, nobody's in here. Earlier, Tyler pranked me pretty good. So now it's on. Let's see how my little nephew likes this old air horn seat. This is gonna be priceless. Hey, you got a couple minutes? I wanted to go over those work orders that your dad wants to go over.
Yeah, I guess. I'll be there in a sec.
Okay, it'll only take a couple minutes, thanks.
All right, bye.
I gotta admit, I've been wanting to get somebody with this prank for a long time. And Tyler just gave me the perfect opportunity. This is gonna scare the out of him.
What's up?
Hey, dude, let's grab a seat and let's go over this for a little bit, cool? Dude, that was supposed to scare the crap out of you. That was my prank. You didn't get scared at all.
You're not gonna get me. I mean, what?
You suck, dude.
Are we doing work orders?
No, that was a prank. That was one of my best, too.
Why don't you go cry about it in your dirty car?
Son of a... Next time, I'm just going to put a whole pile of live tarantulas on his desk.
If you've ever stained wood before, you've probably run into this problem. Wood stain on your hands that can set in for days. What common household item is safe and effective at removing oil-based stain from your hands? A, baby powder. B, oranges. C, olive oil. D, petroleum jelly. The answer and more coming up. What common household item is safe and effective at removing oil-based stain from your hands? The correct answer is C, olive oil. What you do is rub a little olive oil into your hands. What it's doing is removing the stain because olive oil is actually a natural solvent and it removes the pigment of the stain. For more intense stains, add salt or sand as an abrasive and that should do the trick. This iron lung has been one hell of a project. All the parts are done, so now I've got Kyle and Fonzie assembling it for the customer who's coming in to pick it up later today.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Larry's here, for the iron lung.
Oh, hey.
Hi, Rick.
Good. How you been?
Good. I'm so excited to see this iron lung.
All right.
Being able to take this machine back to South Dakota in a restored condition is very important to me. It saved lives and helped people that otherwise wouldn't be here.
All right. So you remember what this looked like, right? I mean, it came in just trashed.
Yes, sir.
All right. You ready?
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, check this out.
What do you think?
This is fantastic. Right out of the factory. Absolutely spectacular. When I first saw the iron lung, I was blown away. The first thing I noticed were all of the beautiful plated parts. Just spectacular shining parts all over the machine. Compared to how this was when I brought it in, it's unbelievable.
It was a huge learning experience for us to figure out how it operated, what each part did, and then I ended up going over to a friend of mine's, and believe it or not, he actually had one down in his basement, but it wasn't as old as this. It was 50s. It actually inspired me about some ideas of the machine and how it worked and everything, and actually Tyler ended up getting inside of it.
No kidding, you were inside?
Yeah, I was in it, but I still haven't seen my $100 for doing it. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous.
The tank itself was rusted out. First, we had to roll the metal and then weld it all in. It had to be airtight.
Yep.
We ended up doing a lot of body work and fabrication. We re-nickel plated everything. This is actually plexiglass, and that's what they would have used back then on this particular one. So that's all been redone. Now you can see through there.
Yep.
Ted went and redid your face plate of the water pressure gauge right there. So that's all new, been re-put back together.
Fantastic.
The motor itself, we sent the motor out, redid all the electrical. All the electrical's been done.
Yep.
Where the bellows went up in it, it was all rusted out.
Yeah.
So we had to redo it, re-weld it, remount it.
So cool.
On the bellows, we saw that it was leather on one side, inner tube material in the middle of it as the diaphragm. And then all of a sudden we're figuring out, what are we going to use for the rubber? We ended up buying like 3 or 4 different kinds of tires to try to figure out. We finally figured out the one that would work, and then boom, that thing fed in there.
I'm amazed. I'm really eager to go through it and see all the pieces.
So you want me to fire it up and show you how it works?
Turn it on.
You haven't seen that happen yet, have you?
No, sir.
All right.
I know this is a really tough project for Rick. I'm hoping he was able to do everything that he thought he could do to bring this machine back to life.
I'm ready.
Hit it. Check it out.
Wow! Look at that! Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it quiet?
Oh, it's quiet. Think of that thing running and running and running.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
I think that you really need to get the full effect of what it would be like. I think we need to stick him in it.
Yes.
What?
He knows. You're getting in it, he said.
No, I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I got in the first time.
let's get him
Now it's
in.
time for you to get in it. Now you got to get in it. I mean, next time you should just give me my $100. Come on.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Oh, no.
Don't be scared.
This is very weird. Oh, my. Oh, you can feel the suction for sure.
Really?
Freaky.
Yeah.
Hopefully it just sucks the money right out of your pockets. While you're in there, that $100 you owed me seems awfully accessible.
Hey!
Now, where's your wallet?
Get out of my pockets. I took my wallet out. Experiencing the iron lung firsthand really taught me a few lessons. First, what a struggle it was for the people who had to live in them. Second, not to stiff Tyler on a bet.
It's absolutely spectacular.
Thanks for bringing it in.
Thanks, Tyler.
Awesome. Not a problem.
I knew I'd get somebody.
Oh my God. Did it work?
Perfect, dude. Perfect.
Next time, pay me my $100. Sucker.
Bastard.